Testing, testing. Can you hear me? I survived my sickness successfully. It couldn't get rid of me. No matter how many flus they sent, they can never get rid of me. They underestimate my huge Andean lungs. They're underestimating my huge Andean lungs. Hi, hello. I'm still having a bit of a fever. I'm still a little bit not on my perfect self. A little bit of sniffles, a little bit of coughing, and a little bit of a fever. Just a little bit. I actually think that it's a combination between how hot it is down here and also the fact that I'm super sweaty. I'm sweating like nobody has ever sweated in their fucking life, chat. Like, I mean, I change shirts every time I go out. Every time I go in, I change shirts. Cause freaking... Oh god, my internet might be dying. Is it? No, it isn't. Alright. Oh god, the latency. My internet is failing? Might be failing a little bit. Oh god. Yeah, I've been having trouble with the internet as well. YouTube works fine. Sometimes it's weird because YouTube works fine. It's like, for some reason, whatever latency you get in Twitch is different from the actual one in YouTube. I do have my chat over here just in case. I wanted to play that one Minecraft DLC that I was yapping about earlier. It's ridiculous, and I ended up going on a fucking rampage, answering back and forth with somebody. And right before I started the stream, I was trying to set it up. I was trying to set the Minecraft things up, but apparently I need like permission from an institute or something. And the people that have downloaded it are probably have like a work email that is connected to some type of institute or something. Because I was trying to sort that out. You're still a bit low FPS here. God damn it! Hello guy across the street, welcome. Hello everybody. Let me see if I can fix that. Because the internet, oh god, before the stream, the internet fucking fell. And it went back up again. We'll have to be Reds today. Oh man, I'm sorry. Is it working? It has been ridiculous account this week. Yes, what the fuck is going on? I want to get myself a kiddie pool so I can soak in the kiddie pool every day, all day, drink my piña coladas. Are you really gonna have to be a YouTube people now? Wait, okay. I'm gonna send you the YouTube link just in case. I do see the FPS being shit in both of them, so I don't know. We're gonna test it out. You guys can click that. Get into that YouTube work. It's working? Alright. I hope I have big dreams. I trust. Anyways, what I was planning for this stream, I don't think it will get to be done today. Just because I need to get my sweaty throw hands into an educational account. Don't worry, I bet we can bribe someone. I bet we can bribe somebody to give us the educational account and we can yap about the game. I don't know that much about American history. Like, I need to review my American history. Especially, the fact that there's so many people with different opinions regarding how this fucking movement even started and how it works and how it's positive or negative. I need to review my American stuff. Definitely. I just think that it's... At least the thing from Minecraft looks to me like something that has been completely misused. Even if the... Okay, let me explain. Let me give a little summary. I'm red, I'm girls. I'm so sick and my internet is not working. I'll let you know if the internet settles itself over on Twitch, okay? Don't worry. Okay. I have the reds over here on my screen just in case. Okay. I have you. I got you. I can speak to you. I can read you. I hope. Anyways, so I wanted to play this educational Minecraft thingy just to see what the kids are being educated with nowadays. I think that it is very responsible as an adult woman to research these type of things just in case your kids want to get, like, they want to get your kids the wrong ideas on their heads, you know? So you kind of need to review that type of thing, even for the future. You need to be able... I think that it is the responsible thing for an adult to do, to get educated, even on the fields that they despise, even on the things that they despise. Like, even if there's a certain amount of propaganda or something you don't like, you should be able to argue with your child, because otherwise, I think that that's how teenagers are rebellious and being born, you know? When you don't reason, when you don't teach your child to argument against what you're saying and like actually listen to what's right or wrong and logic and all that stuff, you end up getting teenagers that wanna defy you and they just wanna make you suffer, you know? They'll be like, oh, look, I decided to get a tattoo on my face. And you can't argument against it because you hated tattoos on the face so much you didn't even research regarding them, you know? Kids in the future are gonna be so fucking insane, I swear. I'm already afraid of the generation of the Zoomers. I'm already scared of the Zoomers. Is Twitch good now? It is obviously propaganda. So the thing about it is that even if they are actually trying to portray real people that did good, they're kind of using the image of real people that did good to do bad, if you ask me. Because it's like, I never liked that. I never actually... I got into fights with people because of the protests that have happened in general. Because over here we also have protests. We had protests that turned out violent to the point where people have died for very ridiculous causes. Which is also why this topic seems rather personal to me. Give me a second, my hair clip gets stuck in the chair. Anyways, it seems to have evened out their brains broken. Did good. I don't know the whole context of every single one of them, especially since there's a lot of arguing regarding how much... I mean, whenever it comes to any type of protest, whenever it comes to anything like the population asking for something from the government, I feel that in most cases, the government never listens to the people, like ever. And if they listen to the people, it's not or they do what the people say, it's not because they listen to them, but rather something more valuable from their perspective has made them push towards that way, right? So let's imagine there is this protest. For example, there was a protest over here in Peru regarding you guys know that we change presidents almost every fucking day. We had like 10 presidents in a span of 5 years and counting. And basically there was this one guy who ended up having the presidency after the crazy other guy that was a Marxist, an actual Marxist, because that's what his fucking government plan was about. He basically escaped because he ended up having like a shit ton of charges for corruption, right? There were people investigating him, and instead of turning himself in because of the investigation, he tried to run away, but they caught him, and only his child and his wife ended up, of course, living to Europe, somewhere where all of these things can't reach them. He was basically trained to be a Maduro, but he didn't have enough influence in the political party or the governmental spaces in order to pull it, you know? He didn't have the help of the military, and I think that's what pretty much stopped him from doing worse things. You become president, and you become president, and you become president. When is going to be my turn? When is it going to be my turn, Chad? When am I going to be the female president? The second first. Elected, because technically the first president female we had was not elected. actually. He was not elected. She ended up because this guy resigned. Okay. I'm going everywhere with this. But at first, this guy that I mentioned, he tried to escape. We ended up putting him in jail, right? Then after him came a woman. Sorry, a guy called Merino. This poor guy, of course, he was also corrupt. Alright? He was absolutely corrupt. But I think it was a political party that incentivized or tried to start a protest so people would go march against him so they would get him out of the position of president, right? And basically, that was our first big protest back when that happened. Apparently, this political party didn't want him in fucking charge or something, and they ended up railing up so many teenagers, so many young people to protest against this guy, although he hadn't been in position of power more than like a week, a month tops, right? So they basically protested, and during that protest, people died during that protest, right? Because when it comes to protesting, violence is very common, I think, both against the policemen and also against the protesters, right? So one guy died, and then another guy died. So they think that the reason why he resigned was because of the people dying. But I think that's bullshit. I think that the guy was really scared for his life in general. And he had already stolen, as I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, he had already stolen money in that small amount of time he was there. And you might say, Vivi, they obviously wanted to overthrow him because he was stealing money. Not a single one of our presidents has not stolen money. I'm not fucking joking. Every single one of them. So, in a way, I do believe that first protest was fabricated with the purpose of getting him out. And since we didn't have anybody else to govern, I don't know, there would be like a dispute regarding who was going to go into the government. At least that's my theory. That's my conspiracy theory. It was Vizcarra, Merino, Sagasti, Castillo. Yeah. Alright. It's backwards. Oh shit, maybe I fucked up. Yeah. We had Vizcarra, then Merino, then Sagasti, and then Castillo. Really? Okay, yeah. I fucked up. So the first one was another corrupt one. It wasn't even the one that I mentioned before. The one that everybody makes fun of because he wore a funny hat everywhere and he used to say things that were nonsensical, right? I don't know why he said things that were nonsensical. Maybe he was really nervous. But he was truly, I'm not even fucking joking. He literally might as well not have known how to write or speak. The standards to become a politician in Peru are under water. Yeah, that order is correct. There you go. So basically, the first protest was because they didn't want Merino in. And they protested. People died. And Merino went away on a helicopter. He was afraid of getting caught with all of the money he was stealing, right? And then after that came Sagasti, which couldn't... I think he did a decent job. I don't think he did anything bad. He tried his best to do like a transitional government that wouldn't fall apart, you know? I think he did a decent job. And then who came to power eventually was freaking Castillo, which is the one that I always mention because I think that his ideas are rather silly. He's a Marxist. He was a Maoist and a Marxist. And he came out of nowhere. He seriously came out of nowhere. I suspect a foul play because of the amount of videos you would see of people like saying over in the provinces, since there's not that much police control and stuff, these people would mention that you will get threatened. If you didn't vote for Castillo, if you didn't vote for this political candidate, you would get beaten up. And sometimes there was also other videos where people that basically sorted the ballots were throwing away all of the votes and just like on the camera. I don't know why they did that, but there was this video of a guy taking the ballots, saying that they would never vote for the other candidate and breaking the ballots. The other candidate is also extremely hated. I don't personally understand to this day why she's extremely hated, aside from the corruption. The thing is, I don't understand. They hate corrupt people when it's convenient. They don't hate all of the corrupt people. You should hate both left and right people that are corrupt, regardless of what their position is. And even then, we don't even have like an economical right in Peru. There's no economical right in Peru. In Peru, you get fucked in the ass one way or another. A teacher, by the way. Yes. Hello, auntie. I am feeling a little bit better. And yappy. Because of the whole Minecraft thing. I could not get it to open though. Because it asked me for an email that is for educational purposes. So I guess that my email has to be connected to some type of educational... like an educational database. Like it's registered as I'm a teacher or something. It wouldn't let me download it. I'm gonna ask people like... I'm gonna ask probably... Mama Okto? Mama Oko? How did she manage to get that through? Oh no, it was Misu. I could ask Misu. By the way, I'm throwing names, but I don't freaking know these people. I just wanna ask somebody for help. Let me in. Let me into the protesting. Let me into the protest. You're not letting me protest. I wanna get in. I wanna ask Misu how he managed to get into fucking Minecraft, because I really wanna play that. I wanna learn. There's so many things that I don't know. That I wanna learn. I think that that's the best thing. Whenever it comes to debunking stuff. I think you need to get your hands dirty. You need to burn your retinas and actually read whatever bullshit someone else is doing. Because otherwise you come off as somebody that is just chanting the same thing over and over again, you know? I think that's the way. The thing is, you guys don't necessarily know how the type of people that agree with that sentiment behave. They're very irrational sometimes. So I think that the best way to explain things is to get your hands dirty. And that's why I really like your shit. That's why I really, really like your shit. Because she gets her hands dirty. She pretty much reads the fucking 500-page document or whatever, sweet baby or whatever. So she knows exactly what happened and nobody can tell her, actually, it was not like this. Actually, it was... Know your primary sources. Yeah, that's why I wanted to play it. I'm gonna ask Misu really quickly through... I've never talked with Misu, by the way. I'm such an asshole. I'm gonna message her. I don't know what he preferred. They prefer to be called him. Hello. Hello, Misu. I have a question. Wanted to play the Minecraft DLC. DLC thingy, but it won't let me register Microsoft educational account. I was wondering how you got through that. Thanks in advance. There you go. I try to be polite, especially since English is not my first language and sometimes I'm insane. When it comes to rating to people in English, I don't want to come off as rude, so I always say, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! She ignored my comment without her voice. You already know I'm fucking flat. You don't need to remind me or remember every 5 seconds that I am flat. Do you have to tell yourself that you are flat? Because otherwise you would be completely enamored with myself. Is that why you have to remind yourself that I'm flat so that you don't fall for my extreme drowsiness? Is that why? Because you don't like flat women? I love flat. Alright, at least it's good to know. At least it's good to know there's flat women lovers still. Yeah, I think it was Misu. Yeah, she's the one that typed that. She did mention... downloaded it about an hour ago just to prove to someone it wasn't exclusive to some secret school edition. That it was... Then was a bit caught off guard by the modern-looking riot police and decided to play through it. It really is just encouraging kids to wreak havoc in order to enact change. Yeah, and I got into a discussion on Twitter, as I do. I love yapping with people on Twitter, because sometimes I would also like to get my opinions checked, you know? I also like... I enjoy dialogue, even if it's me changing my opinion, because obviously I don't want to have the wrong opinion. What's going on? Is Vivi getting cancelled? I'm never getting cancelled. I'm under the radar. I'm super small and never gonna get cancelled. Because I think that I can't get cancelled because most people also know what kind of audience that I have. I think that my audience doesn't give a fuck. I'd much rather just hang out and listen to whatever I have to say instead of really care about this type of things. I think that my actual audience, the people that watch me, tend to think similarly to me, right? So there's no really a way for somebody to be like, oh, I'm gonna cancel Vivi. I'm gonna tell her viewers that she does this, and that. Because they're gonna be like, yeah, we also do that. Like, why would I stop watching Vivi just because of that? Are you fighting with someone over broken Minecraft? Yes, absolutely. I just think it's silly. And so many people have stupid opinions. That is a bold pastime. I don't remember reading one of her replies on my timeline. I just try to not get involved because I don't want to back people. I feel like interacting with people on Twitter of all places would give me 10 years of fatigue. I am used to it. Actually, I was on the debate team in school. And I really liked it. I hold my dog. That makes sense. All it does is give me an ulcer. I think that you need to... I also learned to not get affected by that, chat. Like... don't get affected. If you think you're right, just say what you think and move on. If somebody is being too irrational, I don't think that you owe them answers forever either. I wanna eat those crystals. These ones? They're not real candy, they're actual crystals. You're gonna get yourself poisoned, man. You need good emotional control. That is true as well. Like... if something triggers you, you just gotta be like... N-word, close the internet. N-word, close the fucking screen thing that you're looking at right now. Turn off your computer. I love that fucking meme. I always repeat it. Cause I think it's true. You can just close whatever the fuck, and if it goes to like another level IRL, I guess that's different. But even then, you could just ignore them. I don't know. How is cyberbullying real? Joblin? How is cyberbullying real, Joblin? Just log yourself off the computer, Joblin. Just turn off the computer, Joblin. Go outside, touch some grass. Touch some grass. Down, Vivi. What are you, an ICE protester? Oh god. A funny hat? My funny hat? He was so real for that. That was so fucking funny. I don't know. I think that 2026 definitely has some surprises upon its sleeve for us. Hopefully not another pandemic, because my lungs can take more fucking cold. Thinking about that, okay, I've been living this past week taking pills, going to sleep, waking up, having lunch, taking pills, going to sleep, waking up, having dinner, taking pills, going to sleep, like that, and working from home ever so slightly. I've been doing everything from my phone. I've been so fucking sick, and I don't know what it is, chat. I never had this type of problem before. It's like I haven't been able to recover from my sickness for some weird ass reason. They can give you a local gang of like $5 USD to do the job, but can you remember the fucking sink? sake! Working from the phone, yeah, it's been hell. Nobody answered whenever I called them. Anyways, TBF, I think there's advantage of being Latam because even if you get dogs, what are they gonna do? Come to bumfuck Peru? Good one! I think that, I don't know. The thing is, I've been through any cancellation. I've been through cancellation before, and the way to deal with it is just not give a fuck and focus on yourself. Like, I don't know. Experience has just proven me right over and over again. Never apologize. Fix yourself. And self-control, I guess. It helps boost your immune system, shortening sick time. But it will boost your immune system, so that means it hits harder too. Are you... Huh? I think that my messages might be a little bit delayed. You mean sync? Oh yeah, you mean sync. I've been taking these tablets that are effervescent that you put on the water. And it has a multivitamin, so it has zinc and vitamin C and vitamin B and a lot of B's and everything you need in case you are sick. At least that's what the guy at the pharmacy told me when I bought it. He was like, drink this. I was like, I'm super sick. What do I do? Do you have Panadol? Do you have Panadol? Do you have ibuprofen, paracetamol? And he gave me some generic flu vitamin thing. No, not vitamin, sorry. Pills. They were pills. Vitamin BB. And I drank that. But the thing is, every single one of those medicine for the cold doesn't get rid of the thing itself. Because the thing itself, it has to go away, right? It's like a virus that has to go away eventually. But what I did basically was take that and it would make me sleep. Because it has there's this type of pill that you usually drink for whenever you have allergies, and it makes you super sleepy because of the things that it contains. So the thing for the cold also has that, and I would be sleeping. I've been sleeping so much yet. I have been sleeping so much. Do you need a prescription for that in Peru? I'm curious. Hell no. You don't need prescriptions in Peru, and I hope to maintain it that way forever. It's not like it's making you high. We don't have something equal, as far as I know, because I never tried that. We don't have something equal to lean, like cough syrup or whatever the fuck you mix it with. I don't think we have cough syrup that makes you trip balls. Not vitamins, but antibiotics or something. So in the place that I live is pretty wild in that sense, because I live in a lawless land where everybody can buy anything from anybody. Without the medical recipes or anything. There is some places that ask you for that, but most places don't, right? And of course, we have... Okay, this is a very funny thing that happened to me during high school. There's this one pharmacy, and I don't know if it's local or international or what it is, but there's one pharmacy that doesn't sell condoms. Like, they don't believe in any type of protection. They don't sell condoms, they don't sell pills, they don't sell anything that has to do with that. Why? Because I had a friend who we purposely forced... We were all... you know how teenagers are ashamed of this kind of thing? So we forced her. She had a boyfriend, so we forced her. You gotta buy this at the pharmacy. You gotta go buy condoms, right? Because we didn't want any babies to take care of, right? So we told her, go to the fucking pharmacy and ask for a condom. And she was like, okay, I'll go to this one. She went there. She asked for both the pill and that, and the pharmacist lady told her, no, sorry, we don't believe in that type of thing here. And it's not a public pharmacy, it's a private one, and it's owned by a religious group. So they don't believe in any type of contraceptive. They believe that if a baby is created, it will always be born, regardless. It was very crazy. No, sorry, that if somebody has intercourse. That means that a baby must be born. That's what they believe. Who will grow larger? And the guy at the pharmacy was Shinzo Abe himself. I found that to be ridiculous. For a second, I thought she said, "We live in a lolly's land." A lollies! I would love to live in a lolly land. In the lolly land. Here someone said you could, and I had to ask the expert. You don't need anything. In most places. But I'm pretty sure that if you went to the capital, they would ask you, though. And that's usually the place that you land in if you're a foreigner. So, do get yourself an American... What do you call that? Prescription. There you go. Most drugs are over the counter, but there are several drugs that need prescription, like any opioids or stuff like Xanax. I went in my wild days of a mentally ill teenager. I've been through a lot. My parents tried to support me in the ways that they believe was the most reasonable possible, which is taking me to a psychiatrist, which is the worst thing that you can do, but they didn't know back then. When I went through a psychiatrist, the psychiatrist gave me so much shit for free. Well, that happened when I was younger, but after that, as I was getting older, and it was rather common for people to go to the psychiatrist for some reason. It started to be more common, or psychologists. So, I had a psychiatrist that pretty much gave me everything. She was like, take this. Fucking hallucinogenics. Take this. Fucking Xanax and freaking... What is this called? Antidepressants? Legal drug dealers. They are, yes. And they would give me boxes. Because I'd be like, you're kind of far away from my house, so I don't know if I'll be able to come here. Like, she wanted to see me once a week, and I was like, I don't think that would be good. And you're also very far away. It cost me a lot of money to come here, so I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to come here, like, all the time that you want me to be here. She was like, no worries. Here you go, 20 boxes of anti-hallucinogenics. Now, my problem had nothing to do with those type of drugs. She wanted to make me get hooked up on something, definitely. Because what did I actually have? Attention deficit disorder. So, it is pretty insane. And I'm pretty sure that's common in not only here but also in America. And they have the worst drugs with the worst side effects. I think that they give them for free. Because I remember in the package that I saw, it said something like, this is, do not distribute. This is for like, something like they were given to her because she's a psychiatrist. So she could give it to people, right? It said something like, do not distribute. Because apparently, what was also rather common was for teenagers that had mental problems to go into a psychiatrist, get medication for free, and then sell those. Many such cases. I am very sorry for your gray matter in your brain. It really takes a while for you to recover it, but you eventually do. Also, I'm sweating like a motherfucker. Holy shit. All my back. It's full of sweat. Okay, I asked Nisu, but I don't know if she's gonna be able to answer. Hopefully. Oh god. I think I have a Joblin and another person keep on arguing on my comments. I think I'm gonna mute it. Because sometimes the discussion just goes through the fucking branches and it makes no sense. Ah! I think I'm gonna mute them because it's... Bruh. The thing is, the conversation was completely derailed into something else. I need a leaking Joblin. I'll get that for you. They put me on some kind of clinical meth and it gave me blackouts and maybe a toothless unfeeling zombie. It gave you blackouts? What the fuck? Bro, they were experimenting on you. Cause how is that even possible that it gave you blackouts? That sounds horrifying. I hope you're okay. Oh my god. I wish you could actively, like, sue them for that. Meth is a hell of a drug, Vivi. Yeah, but he says, like, some kind of clinical meth. That's fucking insane. Why? And you know what's worse? Probably a doctor in the future would probably tell you, actually, you're just vitamin D deficient. Actually, you just need a little bit of sun. Actually, there's black mold growing in your walls and you didn't realize because it was hidden away by the plastic paper that covers it. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. Alcoholic son or piled up daughter? Being an alcoholic... it's not as bad as it used to. Right? Because I think I read somewhere that the alcohol companies are struggling to get more people hooked on the alcohol. Because teenagers these days prefer just to play video games or do literally anything else. Who's your doctor? A doctor from the 50s, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. I like to hope that the doctors will get better with time. Perhaps. Also, would you give me a second, guys? I want to change my clothes into something that is not sweaty. And maybe also wash my face. I'll be right, okay? I'm still having a little bit of a fever. I managed to get my fever to 36.7.8, which is like... I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit. Let me see. Like 98. And normal is just 96. So I think that I'm gonna probably... I probably still have a little bit more of that fever and a little bit more of that cold to get away. In like 2 days, I should be perfectly fine. We can help with both. No, you can't. No, you can't. I'm gonna put it on a jar and let it ferment. And then instead of selling it, I'm gonna throw it as a type of grenade, a biological warfare weapon. Hope it clears up. Thank you. Me too. I really hope it goes away. I really want to go back to exercise and chat. I haven't been able to go to hit the gym a single time. I really want to go to the gym. I feel like I wasted all of my gains. I weighted myself yesterday, and I'm back into my original weight. Ooh. I can't really go yet. So I hope that it gets better. Baby sweaty, knees weak, arms spaghetti. Don't teens do nitrous oxide sniffs and fed now? Yes, probably yes. I don't know. I don't hang out with children that do drugs. My brothers are zanahorias. They are saints. They're too pure. They don't do any drugs. I think that the worst thing that my brothers probably do is drink alcohol, but even then, they've never blacked out or anything like that. I think they're very responsible. So, I really doubt anything bad's gonna happen. Does it make you lose weight like the other sick tubas these last few weeks? Yes. Even, the thing is, it also gave me nausea. So I stopped eating as much as before. So, I think that that's also why I lost weight. It's my body probably trying to fight against the virus and the fact that I've been eating less because I get a little bit nauseous. I don't want to explain the mechanisms of why I am nauseous because I think that they're gonna be disgusting, but I think that they are tied to the fever and the cold. So yeah, 𝕬𝕤, would you guys give me a second? 𝕬𝕤, and I think that we can play that game that I mentioned last time about the kingdoms and stuff. For the Minecraft thing, I'm gonna wait for Misu to answer. So he can tell me how the fuck he got inside of the game without having an account. they're still going on the comments. Let me just tell you what I think though. I think 1, 2, she hates it. I haven't even left. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. From my perspective, regarding the protesters thing, is that for what I've heard, it seems terrible. For what I've heard, it seems like propaganda for protesting violently. And that is not something that I approve of. I don't approve of violence regardless of the motive. Unless maybe if it's self-defense and the person that is self-defending themselves is in their house or something. You know? But regarding that, I do believe there's an active... There's actively people trying to destabilize the West with both Marxist and socialist born ideas that have eventually perfected themselves to pass out as normal things or things that are positive to society but are actually negative. That doesn't mean that I don't think that social causes like for having, I don't know, free healthcare or whatever, it doesn't work. I just think that it is convenient to pretend that all of the proof that we've seen from like stuff, very simple stuff that you can see on freaking video games, like the sweet babying stuff, to academics, to fucking Jordan Peterson almost losing his fucking he had this type of title where he could have patients who could get treated for psychological needs. He almost lost that fucking thing for his mildest takes. Jordan Peterson had the mildest takes. He was never extreme right. And everybody threw him under the bus because he tried to debunk ideas that were obviously biased towards the left or towards socialism or racial politics. I think it's insane. And to deny that would be blatant lies. To deny that that hasn't happened would be blatant lies. And I don't think I'm particularly right-leaning. I've always believed in freedom of like each person. I think that it's just that the other side has radicalized itself so much that they moved the whole window. I think that my ideas would have been pretty mild and even left-leaning back in the day. Who? One guy who was a psychologist that became rather popular, and he was the guy that told everybody to fix their rooms because it would have a positive impact on their heads. And he would argue against feminism, like men deserve to be happy and they can build themselves, you know. He tried his best to go against that type of thing, and he had the most mild, reasonable takes. He was no Andrew Tate. He was no Sneeko. He was no person that I don't know fucking says one thing and does another. He wasn't like that. He was pretty reasonable. So to see that he almost got his license revoked, to me proves how much the academia has been taken. To me it proves it. And I've also lived it myself. Like, you can't lie to me when I've been in college back when this thing wasn't flourishing amongst peers. Like, I remember clearly going to any class that had to do with let's say social topics. Any class that had to do with not pure whatever my career is, whatever my career path is, you know? We had like freaking people with the most radical ideas being professors, and you could not go against what they said. And they taught you these type of things like they were facts. They didn't even tell you, according to this sociologist over here, he says that this and this is true. They would rather be like, actually, this sociologist has proven that all men are bad and evil and we should castrate them all chemically. You know what I mean? It would be insane, the bias that I would see. And these poor men, I had a male... There were males in my class, right? And they could not defend themselves. It was a pure humiliation ritual. It was a fucking humiliation ritual. It was like telling guys, "Hey, by the way, you're valuable way less in the in the academic world. You're gonna be hired way less in the field that you're in because we're gonna prioritize women." Like, it was a humiliation ritual, and it didn't surprise me that people would get radicalized. It wouldn't surprise me that people get angry or have to just accept this as a fact. It was too crazy. So, you can't lie to me and tell me that's not the case. I've lived in Peru. I've lived in Peru. That is a third world fucking country where things get passed down. We get, like, the worst of the worst of the worst. I've never seen that happen the other way around. Nobody has denied me an opportunity for being a female. Now, you could say it's because you're biased, because that had never happened to you, so that doesn't mean that it happened to other people. I'm pretty sure it has, but it would never justify going the other way around, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, this seems to me like it happens to most men, because what the fuck do you mean? It angers me. It angers me. I'm very sorry that the people that are supporting this had terrible male role models in their lives or terrible male friends. But I happen to really love my dad, and if he was in that situation, I would feel so bad. If he didn't get hired, although he had a better qualifications for a job because he was a man, I would feel so bad. So yeah, it pisses me fucking off. It does piss me off. Maybe comment very right-wing started because I saw so much male hate from feminists. Right. I think that they also act in a way that doesn't have any patience or consideration towards anybody, you know? It's like they usually, what I say regarding feminists is that they hate stuff like racism or homophobia or stereotypes, but they do exactly the same. They're not even doing the effort to understand how the male brain works in order to act accordingly. You know? Because it's like always assuming the worst scenario, the worst thing possible. Like fucking mansplaining. It's because that guy wants to take more space because he believes he's hot shit and he believes he's better than women. But women have to cross their legs. Maybe he has balls. Maybe his balls are itchy. And if a woman does that, maybe she... I don't know, maybe hers are also itchy. Have you thought about that? Have you thought that we could both have itchy balls? Anyone remember the manspreading chair? Oh, absolutely. Oh my god. Maybe we should get rid of all the chairs and only get like those standing up grabby thingies. So you have to grab that to go on a train. And guess what? Consequentially, it is also if we get rid of the seats, the government will have to pay less to the trains. So everybody wins. The OG feminists got taken over by the man-hating lesbians. The woman who opened the first battered women's shelter said that she tried opening a battered man's shelter and got death threats, including them killing her dogs. Holy shit. I can see that. I can see that happening. Whatever. Oh god. Whenever a woman does that, she's called a pick-me. Which is annoying. Because, like... Maybe having a complete bias towards your own gender says a lot of bad things about you. She tried opening 2014 to 2016 was a fucking experience to see that's what stupidity would happen around those spheres. That's when Gamergate started. Gamergate was entirely, solely a thing because one woman that was sleeping around with game devs, sorry, with reviewers to get her games reviewed better, thought that people around her were shit-talking her. They weren't. Went ahead and publicly denounced them as harassers. That's how Gamergate started. We should watch a video regarding Gamergate. I need to freshen up my memory. But it was literally that. The reason why games have ugly ass looking characters now is because of that woman. It started like a domino effect to the point where now we got the second Epstein Files list leaked. And so that's another thing. We should probably talk about that. We have talked about it a little bit on the last stream. But basically, if you compare what Jeffrey Epstein would talk about in his emails to what he would answer regarding similar questions when being interviewed, he says the complete opposite. And that should be a good guess to not trust what they say publicly, you know? Like in public, this is what he said, by the way. He would say there's no racial component to intelligence. Meanwhile, on his fucking emails, he was like, I'm not gonna work with anybody that is not 98% Jewish, by the way. Because I believe they're way intelligent than the rest of the population or something. So, I think it's a good rule of thumb to search what he said and complete explicitly the opposite. Woman. He openly talked about how his worldview was Jewish versus Goyim. Yeah, pretty much. Insanity. But, it's good to know that all the conspiracy theorists were right. Alex Jones is really rejoicing himself right now. Oh god, I think that he's really very happy. To be able to say I was fucking right and everybody called me a conspiracy theorist, a crazy madman, deplatformed me, took away my credit cards, took away my bank account. To now, it being public knowledge, it's insane. It just reinforces my idea that in the very end, what is true always comes to light. Like, to never lose your hope, chat. Always, the truth always comes to light. I believe. Alex Jones ironically for a while denied anything related to Israel, etc. Oh my god, I didn't know that. He tried playing it even. Maybe because for some reasons. For reasons regarding a certain paycheck. He has found the recycling. Yeah, makes sense. Almost every single conspiracy theory in the last 50 years have ended up being true. Give us very usable. I've seen that too. Oh my god. Yeah. That's crazy. But that's American politics for you. I guess it is almost impossible to not say that kind of stuff. But I feel like there's certain topics that are untouchable depending on which circles you're in. For American politics, it's probably Israel. And for VTubers, it's the Chinese Communist Party. Hey Vivi, hi everyone. Hello Scooty. Hi Vivi. The files are crazy and scattered in understanding. Yeah, I don't wanna fucking read that. I think that the files should have opened a bunch of investigations towards people, but they didn't, which is surprising to nobody. Hi. All right, I'm gonna take a break. I'm sorry, Scooty, that I'm leaving when you just got here, but I'm sweaty. I need to change. I need to put water in my face. I am too sweaty. I still haven't recovered entirely from my cold. We were gonna play that Minecraft DLC about Rosa Parks and Gandhi and Martin Luther King and everybody, but I don't know how to reach it. I I'm asking a VTuber that I know that has managed to get it open, but I have no idea how to do it myself, so I'm gonna wait. Alright, hopefully we can play it now. If we can't, it's fine. We're probably gonna play it another time. Ah, Jesus. They're still going, chat. I think seriously has a good point. But I think that there's no avail. You're doing it to no avail, sadly. Some people just will not listen. I think there's too many layers for the average person that might have skin in the game to accept that certain things are done with political purposes is incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard. Actually interested to see what that's actually like. Me too, I really want to play it, but I've been trying to log in and it won't let me. The average person is brainwashed, they are helpless. I know, but in a way, I have this complex where I think that I can save them, you know? I have this complex where I think I can teach them. Because deep down, there's probably somebody that doesn't have like bad intentions. Because I remember there was a brief moment where I also got into those type of politics. I remember firmly believing that cosplaying Dan characters was doing blackface. I remember that. I'm not proud of it. Because it's obviously ridiculous, right? But I remember being surrounded by so many people that agree with that thing that I just couldn't see the other side. So I do understand. That's why I empathize with this type of people. That's why I empathize. Because I know it's hard. Oh no, Bibi was woke. I could have been way worse, I'm pretty sure. I could have been extremely woke. But reality hit me in the face. Because my dad sat with me and he was like, okay, listen, what are you gonna do with your life? Time to beat here. My dad already beat me. I pity them and I'll give them the chance, but I don't count on anything. Yeah, don't have super high hopes. I will though. La Munda Vivi? Okay, I'll be RV. Sorry for living. Sorry for living, but I'll be RV. I'm back. Let me see. Actually, I do wanna watch that video together. An KGB guy talked about how brainwashing people was the extent was the goal, and how it was almost always completely irreversible because it encourages critical thinking. Yes, I do remember that guy. Freaking 𝕬𝕤𝕤𝕚𝕚𝕚. Yes. I think we should watch that together. Sorry for that. The music. My mom gave me a donut. And I ate the donuts. And it was very yummy. Really the most amount of sugar I had in like 6 days! What video was it? Yeah, that one. Hello, Red Chimera. Welcome. Welcome back. Thank you. Alright, let's see. Why didn't you share? Because it was my ring. My precious ring. 𝕬𝕤𝕤𝕚𝕚𝕚. We have a lot to learn from the Russians and also the Slavic people, because they lived through communism. They know their strategies. We need more Slavic people knowledge, you know? Where is this? So we can watch this together. It's a yappy stream. You wouldn't mind if I just yap about whatever I want, right? But I think it's fun. And entertaining. I will give you my input, don't worry. No sweet treats for us! Okay, you're gonna have one sweet treat. The flat elf is back! When are you gonna remind everybody that I'm flat? What about if I remind everybody that you're also flat, You haven't been doing your chest reps, I see, autos. That's why you're flat as well. Should have done your breast reps. I think that women like big-breasted men when they have big pecs, you know? I think that's something that men don't consider. That's why you should do exercise, chat. You need to have big pecs, okay? I need every single one of you to have huge, ginormous male pecs. This one? She knows too much. I know too much. You know too little. I just stay away from my pecs. Why? Why does it sound like they scare you? Moves? Is that how they're called? Moves? Kimbo moves? Of course you are flat look 2D. That's true. Stay away from my muscle milkers! We're gonna become bigger! Okay, let's start. This is a full interview with 𝕬𝕤𝕤𝕚𝕚𝕚. The 4 stages of ideological subversion, 1984. Depending on how it goes, I might yap over it a little bit. Hello, totally not Kyrie. Hello, welcome. Are you winning, baby? I always win. Wait. This is 1 hour long. I think I'm gonna see if I can find a shorter version. I mean, I could watch a whole hour. There's like more concise. There's an interview. Which one's the one that I've seen? The interview or the long 1 hour one? Temporary use requires commentaries, so intermittent yapping is a good idea. We prove you don't have ADHD. I can watch a video of 2 hours if it's interesting enough. I promise. Okay, let's watch. Sorry. Okay. Your brain on TikTok. It is my brain on TikTok. This is an hour long video. I'm gonna find a shorter version.
He's on the left here. My father was officer of the General Staff of the Soviet Army. He was inspector of land forces, Soviet troops stationed in countries like Mongolia, Cuba, East European countries. This is the picture taken at the entrance of my Institute of Oriental Languages. It's a part of Moscow State University.
Oriental.
As every Soviet student, I was quote-unquote volunteering.
Why is that nowadays considered a slur? I never understood that. Why is Oriental... Why does Oriental mean like a slur? Because I thought just meant from the Orient, which is Asia, I guess? I don't freaking know. I guess the Orient. We also say that in Spanish, and we haven't stopped saying that in Spanish. This is an hour-long video. Something colonialism. It's just archaic. So just say Asia. A succulent oriental meal. What am I doing? A succulent meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
For harvesting grain in Kazakhstan. By the end of my training in school, I was recruited by the KGB. This picture was taken on that day, and you can see again how happy it feels to be recruited by the KGB. Pay special attention to number of bottles on the table. One of my functions was to keep foreign guests permanently intoxicated the moment they land at Moscow airport.
Holy shit.
In 1967...
I wonder if that's where the stereotype about Russians and being drunk came from. Because minorities always cry about words used to describe them at some point. Okay. I don't freaking know. I don't know. Why would you cry about it? It doesn't sound bad whatsoever. I feel like saying Asian is pretty much the same, it's just a different word. It was used to describe it literally the same. I guess that the context from like back then is what it means something bad. Because it wasn't supposed to be despective, right? That's just average slaps. Wait, how's the volume, by the way? Because I'm not sure if it's loud for you or not. Sorry that I'm clearing my throat. I'm still sick. To keep in mind that Soviet vodka has bottle caps you open with a bottle opener because you were expected to drink the whole thing. Interesting. Why? Well, I think that they became probably resistant to that. Thank you for the follow. No wait, thank you for the resubscription, Barry Barton. Thank you. I've never heard Oriental used in a disrespectful way. Yeah, that's what I mean. I've never seen that, so I wouldn't understand why they feel offended because of it.
Magazine, Look magazine, a group of 12 people arrived to USSR from United States to cover the 50th anniversary of October Socialist Revolution in my country. From the first page to the last page, it was a package of lies.
The Uruguayan national anthem refers to the people as Orientals. See, in Spanish, we don't freaking know what it even means. Vivi, are you sick? I hope you get better. Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. I've been trying. I've been taking all my pills and everything, but it just will not work. A conversation with Yuri Bezmenov, former propagandist of the KGB. Host 𝕓𝕤𝕤 Griffin.
Our conversation is with Mr. Yuri Alexandrovich Bezmenov. Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was the, and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. One of his interesting assignments was to brainwash foreign diplomats when they visited Moscow. And he'll tell us a little bit about how they did this and how they planted information which eventually wound up in the press of the free world. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation. And
so when it comes to that, I wonder if he also included people like from India and stuff. Like every representative went to Russia. Like imagine just the amount of representatives from each country that went to Russia. Were they groomed in a similar way? Were they all groomed? Are all of the freaking... I'm going a little crazy. Are all of the freaking political... All of the freaking ministers, representatives of different countries groomed in this way? Yeah? Then we're having like big problem.
Measures. Mr. Bezmenov, I'd like to begin by having you tell us a little bit about some of your childhood memories.
Well, the most vivid memory of my childhood was Second World War, or to be more precise, the end of the Second World War, when all of a sudden United States, from a friendly nation, which helped us to defeat Nazism, turned overnight into a deadly enemy. And it was very shocking because all newspapers were trying to present an image of belligerent, aggressive American imperialism. Most of the things that we were taught is that United States is...
By the way, that's also what we're taught here. That's why we catalog every single... Well, not everybody, of course. That's why some people here in Peru catalog all Americans as Yankees and believe that they're... Whatever they did in the Middle East is something that they will do in Latin America eventually. Like, all the propaganda that came through Cuba and Venezuela regarding... Okay, so you gotta understand, it's... The average Joe, just their first explanation of a situation is propaganda down here. Like, we don't have independent press. We don't have, like, another opinion in the media. There's not like a second or third opinion in the media regarding any topic, chat. It's insane. Like, most people that haven't been educated with, like, superior education or good education here believe that the only reason why Cuba and Venezuela were in such a bad, terrible state economically is because of US sanctions. No other reason. Not the fact that freaking they couldn't manage their prices of oil that they had. They couldn't manage because they decided to either deport or fucking kill or steal, and the people they put in charge of those or whatever, like manufacturers or like oil rigs or anything, had no idea what they were doing. They never talk about that. They always talk about the sanctions that America put. That's the real reason why we're still a third world country. That is the real reason why most of the time is a third world country, because otherwise we're pretty well off. Economically speaking, we're pretty well off. Maybe we have some problems when it comes to like our geographic, specifically in Peru. Our geography is rather different almost everywhere. So there's people that are still dying because of stuff like the cold and such, but they don't want to move to the cities to get like a better life because it's very expensive. Maybe that would be the extreme. But aside from that, I would say that our third worldness comes tied down to the fact that we don't want to learn English. We don't want to understand any of these complex worldviews. We just want to be fed like we're a baby chick, a baby bird. We want to be fed whatever these types of media, whatever this type of ideology want to regurgitate over in our mouths. You know what I mean? Okay, maybe not you. But what I'm trying to explain what is what I think that is the most common opinion in Peru. Of course, we also have like a huge, gigantic amount of people who are very Christian and very Catholic and even evangelicals. But it's not that, even if it's a majority, their voices are not as heard, you know? We will colonize South America, baby, and you will be better for it. Just try and stop us. I had a teacher that could get mad. Wait. I had a teacher that would get mad and derail the whole class if you said anything remotely positive about America. Even something as simple as calling it America. Oh, that's another thing. Anyone capable of doing such things is better off living rather than trying to fix things. Yeah. Absolutely. But it's hard to live as well, so I don't think that's possible.
Aggressive power, which is just about to invade our beautiful, free socialist country. That American CIA is dropping Colorado beetles on our beautiful potato fields to eliminate our crops. And each schoolboy had a picture of Colorado bug on the back page of his notebook. And we were instructed to go into collective fields to search for those little Colorado bugs. Of course, we couldn't find any. Neither we could find many potatoes. And that was explained again by the encroachments of the decadent imperialist power. The anti-American paranoia, hysteria in the Soviet propaganda was to such of such a higher degree that many less skeptical people or less stubborn would really believe that the United States is just about to invade our beautiful motherland, and some secretly hope that it will come.
As far as I remember, the Russians had Lysenkoism, which basically was this idea that whatever the government, the KGB told them, whatever the KGB told them, was true. So they had this weird idea that if you plant a seed next to another seed, instead of the most powerful seed taking away all the resources, both would share equally because they believe that they're surviving as partners. They would both share equally whatever nutrients they had and grow together. And of course, that ended up in a lot of fucking destruction of crops, and eventually people died of starvation. So it got to that point of insanity where if you control the media, you can pretty much lie about everything, and most people will not understand, especially now, since everything is sort of like the chain of, let's say, one potato to get to your house so you can eat it is so complex. Like, just imagine somebody had to plant a potato. Somebody had to wait like a year for that potato to grow. I have no idea how much time like a potato takes to sprout. But somebody had to transport that potato over to where you live. You had to pick it up from the supermarket, and all that complexity makes it way easier for somebody in the line to lie. Oh, actually, that potatoes come from the sky. And you might think that it's ridiculous to that extent, but we have very ridiculous things right now that sound almost the same, and people still believe them, so. We're dirt! I remember hearing that a lot of them believe Mendel's laws were bullshit because Mendel was a monk. I had no idea about that. It's a complete prideful rejection of tradition. It's really something. Okay, because you live in the current era and technology is so advanced, you think that people will not believe in this sort of bullshit, right? There is ways to fake papers. There's ways to breach academia. I remember clearly there was this one group of people that were trying to prove that there was some type of corruption in academia regarding what topics they would check twice or 3 times to make sure that it was actually valid, compared to other topics that they would very easily publish with no problem. And these 3 guys, they wrote a nonsensical paper that led nowhere, that was something like, observe the microaggressions of peeling a potato. Let's say, I don't remember exactly what it was. We can Google it together. But basically, they managed to publish the most stupid paper that didn't even make any sense because it wasn't peer-reviewed, and they managed to publish it on a scientific magazine. And once that came out, they disclosed that it was a bullshit investigation, and there was not a single like scientific fact or a scientific method that they used to prove it, and it still got published in this very important scientific magazine, right? So there is ways. There is ways. With AI, we can fake about anything now. That is also true. We should probably consider that as well. Well, it's kind of good that these type of people also hate AI in a way, because it might make them derail them from using AI for their evil, you know? Peer-reviewed studies, yeah. Insanity. We gotta Google that at some point. I wanna see if I can find it on my phone while we're watching this. Potatoes take like 3 to 4 months, but true. A lot of people think potatoes come from the store and not farms. Yeah, absolutely. How much it takes, how much manpower, how much money invested you need in order to get that potato. We have machines that use AI to sap weeds with lasers. You can only lobotomize so many edge cases. Sorry, I remember hearing that a lot of them. Okay, so I have no idea where Mendel being a monk comes from. But what was it because they were trying to go against any type of religion, that they believed that because Mendel was a monk, whatever he said wasn't true? Because there was this one. That's also something that also explains why there's so much collision between people that have this type of beliefs and let's say Christians is because they hate religions. It's their religion is communism. Their religion is there's always this supreme representation of all the populace that lives in this country, and that's why they should rule, because they represent all of us and they can never do any wrong. And that usually is shown through political figures like fucking Stalin and this other guy, the bald guy with the beard, whose name I forget. Yeah, it is a religion. I would consider it a religion because people believe it through faith. They don't even need proof anymore. They believe it through faith, and that's what religions are. Lenin, there you go. Thank you. There was a lot of persecution of Christians in the USSR. Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that as well. And back commies. I never truly went over all of this on stream to kind of explain why I have such a big hatred. I think that most of my hatred comes from experiences and like the fact that I've lived in a country where these type of things have impacted. But definitely there's a more logical path to get to the conclusion that is not something positive for society to have whatsoever. That doesn't mean that some social help doesn't help any people, yada yada yada, but not something that I personally think. I think that in any case, whenever it comes to social measures like free healthcare and stuff like that, I think that there should be more incentives for the regular population to want to give away their money for that. Of course, the average Joe that earns 1 penny for a living will not want to do that, but maybe, I don't know, give less taxes to the people that donate food, or the companies that donate whatever. You know, there has to be, I don't know why their incentives, their idea of how to incentivize the population or the corporations to do something is so fucked up. It's like they have proof that something doesn't work, but they still do it. So I think that my only logical conclusion is that they are doing it maliciously. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, you would give tax cuts. You would probably help these Christian. There's Christian organizations. There's Catholic organizations. There's like a lot of those type of people that help the poor. But instead of making it easier for a charity to be created, they put all the fucking walls possible instead of helping. So I do believe that there's some degree of maliciousness in that type of thing.
True.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, getting back to life inside the Soviet Union or inside communist countries in general, in this country, at the university level primarily, we read and hear that...
Wait, I wouldn't read this. Mendel was actually a monk, though. It's how he managed to sustain himself while studying genetics. He'd grow peas for the monastery. Oh, I think I've heard about the bees and Mendel. Yeah. Note down the similarities between the parent bee and child bees, then replant and give the rest to the monastery for food. The core of Marxism is denial of the mutuality beneficial transaction. Under this mindset, of course, every job is exploitative. Yeah. Yeah. Marxism is a belief structure that always has an oppressor versus oppressed narrative, and that framework has spread so far, it's everywhere in the modern world. Even the stuff that didn't have anything to do about it, right? Like gender. That's something more complicated, but I might be able to explain it a little bit more when he touches the topic of recruiting some people, especially the ones that are emotionally manipulated, easy to emotionally manipulate, right? I want to see that in a second.
The Soviet system is
I'm
different
pretty
from
sure,
ours, but not
if I
that
remember
different,
correctly.
and that there is a convergence developing between all of the systems of the world, and that really it doesn't make an awful lot of difference what system you live under, because you have corruption and dishonesty
Bye bye, Neil. Have a good one.
All that sort of thing. From your personal experience, what is the difference between life under communism and life in the United States?
Well, life is obviously very much different for simple reason that
Better.
The Soviet Union is a state capitalist economically. It's a state capitalism.
This was really in the
where an
80s as
individual
well.
has absolutely no rights, no value. His life is nothing. It's just like an insect. He is disposable. Whereby in United States, even the worst criminal is treated as a human being. He has a fair trial, and some of them...
That's what I like of the US as well.
They publish their memoirs in their prisons and get handsomely paid by your crazy publishers. The differences, of course, in the daily life are very various, depending on whom we are talking about. In my own private life, I never suffered from communism simply because I was brought up in a family of high-ranking military officer. Most of the doors were open for me. Most of my expenses were paid by the government. And I never...
Yeah, that's the thing. The ones that get the most affected by these type of regulations are not the ones in the fucking party, but rather the poor people. The poor, no matter what happens. At least in capitalism, the things are... the poor people can improve. But when it comes to the other side, they always get the worst part. They're always the ones that are starving first. They're always the ones whose stuff gets stolen first. They're always the ones that get replaced. So... in a sense, you could say that they hate the poor. I can call the president of China Winnie the Pooh and no one will stop me. In America, so I don't know how true it is because I did see this in freaking Twitter and Instagram that people were getting detained for questioning Trump and the Trump administration. I have no idea if that's true or not. I haven't even explored it because I was like, that's kind of weird. I'm not sure if that's true. Both economic models can be bad if you have bad people running things. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing is, in one, there's a way out at least. You know what I mean? Because you don't depend entirely on the government, but rather a little bit on yourself as well. Sounds like bullshit. Yeah, that's why I also was wondering. Because there were a bunch of other videos that I saw on TikTok recently. Oh, this woman saying that her kids are better off if ICE is going to come for them, her kids are better off. So she said that on fucking TikTok, like an absolute retard. And the police and you know, the child protecting services came to her house, and I think that they might take her kids away because what the fuck? It's not illegal to make fun of Trump. People do it all the time. TikTok doesn't even ban people who threaten to kill people. Yeah, absolutely. It is extremely biased. I think that whatever they might say, like... There was this whole thing about the owner of TikTok showing up in court and saying like, I'm not from China, I'm from Malaysia. Okay, but who the fuck created... Somehow there has to be some type of propaganda being spread through it. There's no fucking way. I think that as a girl... Going on the TikTok is very dangerous because you get a shit ton of feminist propaganda. You get a shit ton of communist propaganda. You get a shit ton of pro-Russia, pro-China propaganda. Even if they say that is somebody else bought the app or it's not being managed by anybody, it's bullshit. I can see it with my own eyes. Why do I get recommended this? I am not supposed to be these algorithms. I don't even comment on them, so I don't know why the algorithm would think that it has to give me that type of content. And I've never got any content that is leaning towards the these things that I believe or criticizing these type of things. I always get the content that is irrational. It's like it's a way that they're trying to groom people. If you ask me, TikTok is a weapon. Oh, it's jury time. Every time they're accusing you of they're already doing. A friend once streamed his account for me for an hour. No propaganda, but it was all a thirst trap and funniest memes I've ever seen. Yeah, I think that, you know what? I think that Instagram wins in that sense. Instagram has the most unhinged, fucking deranged memes. I've seen Pipa's streams, and I know that she has the weirdest algorithm ever. She always gets fucking freaks. Fucking actual hillbillies from the middle of nowhere in America doing stuff. I like that she sometimes shares she downloads them and uploads them to Twitter, and I lose my shit. There was a recent one where if there was like a gigantic fucking truck of 3 tons going through the highway, and he collided with another car and he wouldn't stop. He would just carry the car. He carried the car for like a bunch of meters away, and he was still driving well with the car on the front. It was insane. I think that it's over on her Twitter. Ceci's TikTok is the only thing I find amusing. What is sexy? What is Ceci? Ceci is very sexy. What does it have? That video was nuts. We should all use VK. Isn't that the Russian one? I remember that being the Russian one because there was like high five from Russia. Yes. Sexy, the sexy. Sorry, I'm.
Had any troubles with the authorities or with the police? So in other words, I would say I enjoyed, or I had good reasons to enjoy all the advantages of so-called socialist system.
BK is
main
Russian Facebook.
To defect had nothing to do with affluence. It was mainly moral indignation, moral protest, rebellion against the inhuman methods of the Soviet system.
Well, specifically, what did you object to?
I objected, first of all, against oppression of my own dissidents and intellectuals. And that was the most disgusting thing that I witnessed as a young man, young student, who was brought up at a very troublesome period in our history, from Stalin to Khrushchev, from total tyranny and oppression to some kind of liberalization. Second, when I started working for the Soviet embassy in India.
Just a reminder that it's because communism, Russia hasn't been as, let's say, become a culture or a nation that has influence worldwide in the same sense as literally any other cultural nation. So in a way, the reason why you don't have cute Russian girls in America is because of communism. People talk a lot about Slavic women being very, very pretty, and I agree. But I think that there could be a shit ton more Russians in the rest of the world if there wasn't for communism. Russian Facebook. Yeah, VK is Russian Facebook. I remember because I watched this very unhinged movie about an emo guy who was Russian, and he was also, it was like a yaoi movie, but it was with real life people. It was a yaoi movie for real life people in Russian, and I ended up watching the whole thing, and during then they mentioned VK. Uruguay has a literal Russian town. Really interesting. It's also because NATO treats post-Soviet Russia like shit. That's true, especially now. I've also seen, oh god, even if I start talking about this, I'm never gonna end, but I've seen how people basically try to force Olga Okami to say, I'm against the Russian government and yada yada yada, when it's so obvious that if she's actually living in Russia or plans to go to Russia, she can't talk about it. She can't talk about war. I thought that was so fucking insane and disingenuous and annoying. You can't make those type of political statements like you do on TikTok. Like you have to tell your whole life onto TikTok. You can't do that if you're in a war situation, right? When Olga has been nothing but a very good person in the whole community, a very positive person in the whole community, I think that they were just trying to get her to say something bad and get damaged by it, pretty much. It's not a Russian part of the city. It's a literal town that's 99% Russians. Okay. Wait. You gotta probably investigate. There was this one case about the Russian, I think they were Russian spies, and they said that they were Argentinian or something, or Uruguayan or something. So maybe it is connected, perhaps. That's interesting though, because there's a lot of, that's rather common in South America for some reason, that this type of, a group of people from the same country just travel to South America and make themselves a little compound full of houses everywhere, and that's where all of them live. And they don't interact that much with the outside, just with themselves. Russian women respect men and are traditional, unlike the ones in America. I would dare say that that's changing as well, because I've also seen there's okay, what I eventually stumbled upon for trying to research Russia stuff, there's a huge amount of anti-Slavic men propaganda, and I'm not fucking joking, chat. Like, it's a TikTok thing. It's a TikTok thing. I haven't seen this happen with anybody else for some reason, aside from white people. But there's this thing that whenever anybody's talking about Slavic people, they always say, "Oh, Slavic men hit their girlfriends all of the time." Like 99% Slavic men always hit their girlfriends or something like that. So I swear my TikTok is on drugs. I don't know why I get so much propaganda. My dad lived in the Lithuanian part of town as a kid. Yes, there was a Lithuanian part of town. Oh my god. There's... No, what other cultures are over in Uruguay? I've never learned anything about Uruguay. Fun fact, during the Dust Bowl era in the Freedom Country, if you lived where the boobs were the most strongest, it was able to generate so much static electricity that you can short a car by touching it or knocking someone out just because you decided to give them a handshake. Until we meet again, boss. Oh, bye-bye. Boss, is TikTok? I don't know what to expect. That's pretty much it. It's so much. It's full of propaganda.
To my horror, I discovered that we are millions times more oppressive than any colonial or imperialist power in the history of mankind. That my country brings to India not freedom, progress, and friendship between the nations, but racism, exploitation, and slavery. And of course, economical inefficiency to this country.
Well, I don't support domestic violence. Yeah, but it's obviously propaganda. Or somehow it's either a consequence of feminism reaching Russia or Slavic countries or propaganda. Because that's not fucking true. Like, you can't tell me that that's true. Because there would be statistics, there would be everything, and there isn't. There's no little Italy because the whole country is basically a little Italy, and there's no Chinatown because there's basically no Chinese people. As a kid, I generally thought China was a fictional country. Holy shit, Uruguay is a mystery. I only support regular violence, especially against shitty people. Shouldn't be violent. They claim that about rural white people do. Yeah, I've seen that as well. Not in the same amount, but I do think that that's rather common. I don't know who they're trying to fool, but I can tell you from my perspective, all of the people that I've met would never behave that way. It's just... I wonder what they say about Peruvians. Maybe in another world where we're not minorities, they would say terrible things about us. We don't shower!
Since I fell in love with India, I developed something which by KGB standards is extremely dangerous thing. It's called split loyalty, when an agent likes a country of assignment more than his own country. I literally fell in love with this beautiful country.
With India?
A country of great contrasts, but also great humility, great tolerance, and philosophical and intellectual freedoms. My ancestors used to live in caves and eat raw meat when India was a highly civilized nation 6,000 years ago. So obviously the choice was not to the advantage of my own nation. I decided to defect and to entirely dissociate myself from that brutal regime.
That must have been rough.
Mr. Bezmenov, we've read a lot about the concentration camps and the slave labor camps under the Stalin...
Okay, now I know Jury is bullshitting. Okay, to be fair, as far as I know, this was India almost after it got the British people away from it, right? So it was all they had left. They claim that about real white people. Well, do you shower, boss? I do take showers. I've been taking showers every fucking day, every single time I go outside and every single time I return because I've been sweating so much. So my cleanliness right now, my cleanliness meter right now is over 1,000. We're 9,000.
Now the general impression in America is that those things are part of the past. Are they still going on today, or what is the status?
Yes.
He's going to explain it.
There is no qualitative change in the Soviet concentration camp system. There are changes in numbers of prisoners. Again, this is unreliable Soviet statistics.
Just me.
We don't know how many political prisoners are there in the Soviet concentration camps. But we sure know from various sources that at each particular time there are close to 25 to 30 million of Soviet citizens who are virtually kept as slaves in forced labor camp system. The size of the population of country like Canada is.
I'm a bit afraid to admit it, but the first time I saw a Chinese person, I actually said, "Holy shit, Asians actually exist!" Wait, Alto, I know. Okay, I understand you're from Uruguay and there's like no variation between people over there, but did you think they were made up? Had you never seen an Asian person like on TV? How did you think they were made up? Like, there were white people dressed up with like different like a fucking mask or something. What the fuck? I also saw elves and Klingons on TV. That doesn't mean that Asian people don't exist. Oh my god. Your parents never explained that to you? I've never in my life seen... What have I never seen in my life? I've never in my life seen a Scottish person. But I still know they exist. White people with transparent flex tape shape in their eyes. Would you explain all of the difference? How would you explain that they're shorter? How would you explain the eyes? So you explain the language, the whole, you know, the freaking like, all the constructions they made, Japan itself, China itself. I had the issue where if my parents were busy, they'd go, "Yeah, sure," whenever I asked them anything. I'm very sorry, Alto.
Serving terms as prisoners.
Incredible.
So I would say that those intellectuals who try to convince American public that concentration camp system is a thing of a past are either conscientiously misleading public opinion or they are not very intellectual people. They're selectively blind. They lack intellectual honesty when they say that.
Well, we've spoken about the intellectuals in this country and also the intellectuals in the Soviet Union. What about down at the broad mass level? Do the people in general, the working people, the workers in general in the Soviet Union, do they support the system? Do they tolerate it? What is their attitude?
They can't do shit about it.
Average Soviet citizen, if there is such an animal, of course, does not like the system because it hurts, it kills. He may not understand the reasons. He may not have enough information or educational background to understand. But I doubt very much there are many
That's also the thing.
people.
Whenever people come from this type of countries, unless they're, again, as this guy from the related to the guys that manage everything, they usually come malnourished. They don't know anything aside from their own culture. It's like, it's another world. I know that sounds like I am discriminating, but I swear to God, I am not. If somebody, like, there's this concept in Peru where back in the day, for example, whatever happened in the city or in the capital was extremely different than what happened in the different provinces, because there would be no spending on these provinces, public spending on these provinces, no public funding. So there was people with such a distorted idea of reality. They didn't even consider technology as useful for them. They didn't even know how technology worked, although it was such a common thing over in the capital. And it's such a big culture shock that they try their bestest to get their families to move to the capital, because it's a whole another standard of living. It's like you've only known the fucking cave your whole life, and then you go outside and there's so many other things that you can improve, that you can get an actual job, you can live alone, you can live independently. It is really hard. Like, if you talk with a Chinese person from fucking China, from not necessarily the cities, but from another province, they will have their reality extremely distorted, not only because of the propaganda, but because of the situation that they live in. They're either very poor, they literally have they're so excluded from the rest of society that they have no idea how a lot of things work. They don't even see the same necessities as the average person sees. Like, they don't know about social media, they don't even know about politics. It's really easy for them to get manipulated when their life is so lacking and they're promised stuff like, oh, if you vote for me or if you do this and that, you're gonna have a lot of food. You're gonna be like the king. You're gonna be like this person in your village that earns a lot of money. You're gonna be like this, like that. You're gonna get women. You're gonna get food or whatever. So I think there's definitely degrees into how a person should be considered, like all of their opinions are right. You know? That's how they get fooled. So I don't know. I've seen it at least over here. Like a lot of poor people believe in communism because they think that's the only way they will get to survive. So it's been sold to them like the ultimate answer for their prayers or something. So it's complicated. It is very complicated. And it's so easy to claim that this type of that perceiving this is racist or perceiving this is discrimination when it's just reality. Of course, that doesn't take away value from this person. Like, as a person, they can probably think the same way as I do if they get exposed to all of this. But if they don't, it's harsh. You know? It's harsh. Some houses in the Canadian prairies didn't have plumbing until the 80s? Where would they go to shit? Some Chinese places I've been to, they don't speak English. You gotta order with numbers or ask the kid at the register. Yeah, absolutely. So there's also another thing. I don't know why whenever there's immigrants that live in America, they don't learn the language. Like I don't know. When it comes to older people, it usually is because they're lazy. Like I'm gonna be 100% sincere. The older people are lazy, but the younger people have this idea that they're rebelling against the system, against capitalism, or against America if they don't learn English, which is ridiculous. Instead of being rebellious, you're probably making yourself equal to somebody that has a disability because you can't speak. Outhouses. I've never used an outhouse in a hole in the ground. Alright. That makes no sense. They don't have to because there's so many people who speak Spanish and people who put documents in Spanish. That's another crazy thing to me. She lived, pinch. Alright, let's continue.
Who are conscientiously supporting the Soviet system. There are not such people in USSR. Even those who have all the reasons to enjoy socialism, people like myself, who were a member of journalistic elite, they also hate the system for different reasons, though. Not because they lack material affluence, but because they are unfree to think. They're in constant fear, duplicity, split personality, and
they don't have to because there's so many people who speak Spanish, and that's how all those ethnicity parts of the town form. Okay, but I will learn both of them. I would learn the language that is from my ancestors, and I would also learn English because you're making your life more difficult. It's entirely for making your life more difficult. There's no other reason. Absolutely. The taco trucks I go to where they only speak Spanish and I barely speak it, so I sound funny. And that's funny. Learn Spanish! It is not that complicated, I swear to God. Learn both languages. If I wanted to live somewhere else, I would probably learn the language as well. This is America, you speak English here. Now. Too bad! I speak both, but know both at least. Let's see. I'm already losing.
This is the greatest tragedy for
myself.
Well, what do you think are the chances of the people actually overcoming their system or replacing it?
There is a great possibility that system will sooner or later be destroyed from within. There is a self-destructive mechanism.
Because they will lack funding. I think that's also what has led for China to try to invest in other countries and stuff. Actually, I think that China's economy is entirely capitalistic, but they just won't admit it. And that's the reason why they've been able to thrive. And even then, there's very questionable stuff like that Tofu made apartments. And that one apartment complex that caught on fire because they were building around bamboo. Not gonna lie, if I left the country and had kids, I'd probably not teach my kids Spanish. You should teach them just in case. You need to give them an advantage. Because what else are they gonna learn? What are they gonna learn? It's technically communism with Chinese characteristics. Okay. Lithuanian. Do you manage to get your Lithuanian? There's like this document that you can get if you have Lithuanian family, like grandpa that is entirely Lithuanian, so you can travel back to Lithuania and even get a residence. But even then, I think that it is complicated. We've talked about you're probably gonna get a huge culture shock if you go over there, because it's different than in Latam. That's literally what they call it. Really? I never heard about that before. Communism with Chinese characteristics. We're getting a little bit too comfortable in here. It cuts off a 3rd gen and I'm 4th. Then maybe I don't know if you will be able, but hopefully. Whatever you do, I would suggest teaching your kids Spanish in case there's a war and you need to move from Lithuania back to Uruguay. Just imagine. I think that in that way you gotta be strategic. Like, I understand fighting for your country and everything, right? But if it comes to utter death, you're like already fucking perishing. Wouldn't it be wise to go back to Latin America? I took Spanish 1 and 2, so I can write Spanish too, but that was years ago and my brain hurts when I try it now. I bet it doesn't hurt that much. Get yourself some ibuprofen and keep trying it. Keep doing it. Keep at it.
Built into any socialist or communist or fascist system.
Got too fast. Sorry. I keep getting distracted.
Because there is lack of feedback, because the system does not rely upon loyalty of population. But until this Soviet junta is being supported by the Western so-called imperialists, that is, multinational companies, establishments, governments, and let's face it, intellectuals, so-called academia in the United States is famous for supporting the Soviet system. As long as the Soviet junta will keep on receiving credits, money, technology, grain deals, and political recognition from all these traitors of democracy or freedom, there is no hope, there is not much hope for changes in my country, and the system will not collapse by itself simply because it's being nourished by so-called American imperialism. This is the greatest paradox in history of mankind, when capitalist world supports and actively nourishes its own destructor.
Exactly, because what the fuck is happening in China? Why is everything made in China? Why is everything made in China? And all of the freaking factories in the US have all closed. My goal is moving to the US. Lithuanian is very much an emotional connection to ancestors. Alright. So, how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna move to the US? It is really complicated, Alto. I think you would be better off going to Lithuania, unironically. Because China has a monopoly on the US. I wonder how that even happened. Like, which president started authorizing that? Which government entity started authorizing that? I wish I had a homeland. Ooh. It's okay, Autos. You can reconnect with your ancestors wherever they are from. Weren't they German? The way you like, Toto? I love them. Can BTC help us with a green card? No. I wish they could. If they could, wouldn't you think that I would be the first benefited by that? I have sort of given up my dream of moving to the US. Just for it, because it has taken so long for my dad to get any improvement. See, when you do it through the legal side, when you try to get a United States residence through the legal side, it takes so fucking long and it's so complicated. And sometimes they let people that pay more skip the line, and they let people that they think that it's more convenient for them to be there to skip the line. But when it comes to my dad, who is going to be supported by my sister throughout his life, because he's already sorta old, but he still want to go there and be a citizen and work. Like, they will not give him a chance. Why? Because he is not from a country that has a different religion. Survived barely. Did you get sick again? Yes, I did, Fed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got super sick. I had the flu, but it was a horrible flu that would give me like a headache, and it made my head super hot, and I was passing out and waking up and eating and then passing out and waking up for like several days. But I am okay. I'm just frail bodied. TBF, it's probably going to be harder while things are on a tumultuous here. Oh, absolutely. I don't know what he's planning. I haven't really talked to him about it because I don't want to bother. But there's a chance that even then they might reject him again. Explosive diarrhea again? It was not that. Using the illness to hide her being pregnant. I'm not pregnant! Oh my god. We owe China 682 billion. Really? That would imply there is a man out there willing to do the deed. Oh my god. I'll fucking order, chief. Shut up! That is not true. That is not true. I'm pretty sure a lot of men... A lot of men would like me. If visa from work visa, friends don't work, my alternative plan is honorably setting up a company here and growing it until I can use it as leverage for moving. Do it now! Do it now! 300-year-old virgin drow. Tell me that. Call me that. Do you want to move to the States? Yeah, I think that would be ideal, but also really complicated, and I don't want to start from scratch. I've seen people that go to the States and start from scratch their whole lives, and it's terrifying, I think, leaving the country and everything. But it's really sad that, and now another one of my friends is going abroad to leave, and I'm gonna be left alone again. I'm gonna have to get myself more female friends that are not insane, which is very fucking complicated. I'm on an odyssey to get female friends that are not insane, and it's so hard, chat. Being a disagreeable woman is probably the worst fucking thing you can be, because women depend almost entirely on social interaction and social hierarchies and cues and everything. So